You got a friend. 'Cause you got a friend. You got a
friend. Oh, listen. We might even sound better if we have some coffee. Did you get some?
Sure.
Great, thanks. Well, what's this occasion?
Pardon?
Well, I never get to see you around down here.
It's not often I get away from the arena. Jordan's not the kind of boss who believes in spare time.
No. Works you hard and pulls in the reins, right? I know those kinds of bosses.
Yeah, I can take it.
Yeah, I bet you can. Want some?
Sure. Hey, is Blaine around?
I don't think she's coming in today.
What do you mean she's not coming in?
Do you know what happened?
No, what?
Something went down between Jerry Grove and Blaine and Jordan. I don't know the whole story, but I know that Jerry wound up taking Blaine out of there. I know they just disappeared.
Where'd they go?
I don't know. Nobody knows. I mean, they didn't tell anybody. And there's one more thing, Larry.
What's that?
Jordan doesn't know either.
So they just ran out?
That's it. Gone. That's it. Out.
Has Jordan got his people after him?
I don't know. He's not saying anything, but you know Jordan. I mean, do you think his ego would let him let Blaine just slip through his fingers? Besides, how do you think that's going to make him look at the company? I think his top priority right now is to get Blaine back.
Do you think they can outsmart him?
Now, you know Jordan, and you know Blaine. You tell me.
Melissa, is there any way I can reach them? I've got to talk to them.
I don't know any way. Only thing is that I have good reason to think that she's safe now.
Yeah, but for how long?
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about, too.
Well, yes, sir. We had a young couple in here answering those descriptions. I think it was day before yesterday. Let me check. Here we are. Yeah, they checked out yesterday morning.
Are they registered under Grove?
Yeah. Mr. and Mrs. Gerald Grove. It's all on the credit card receipt.
You got any idea what direction they were headed in? You know, the family's real upset.
A young man, I remember now. He had a broken arm. And he did ask for maps of Georgia. That's right. One for Florida and one for Georgia.
Good. That means they're staying on the interstate.
Cecile. Cecile, do you know possibly where I could call Jamie? I've got loads of phone messages for her.
Yeah, he should be at the dockside.
Well, I've tried him there already, but if you say so, I'll try again. Oh, for heaven's sake, what on earth happened?
Nothing happened.
Well, that's ridiculous. Something happened. You can't come in with a bruise like that and say nothing happened. I mean, you must have been in a terrible accident.
Yes, that's just what it was. It was an accident. And I'd really prefer not to go into it any further, all right, Liz?
Oh, yes, of course. But, I mean, shouldn't you get a doctor? It might leave a scar or something like...
I got scratched and bruised all the time as a child. I'm sure I'll survive this one, too.
Well, what if you get an
Please,
infection?
let's just drop it.
Okay. Thank you.
So much for a whole month's work. Trying to get Brava out. Now it's not even going to get printed.
Except Potter can't hear you.
Well, I'm not surprised. I can't even hear my thoughts in this din. Isn't it absurd, all of us crammed into this tiny spot? How anyone gets any work done is beyond me.
Now, wait a minute. Will you just relax? This is only temporary. Nobody realized it's always going to happen.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I just can't concentrate with all of the distractions around here. I tell you, the sooner we get the new offices built, the better off we can get around to the business of putting out a magazine. This is insane, Philip.
All right. Take a moment. You think you have problems? What about poor Mac?
Yeah, you're right, again. The bombing really has set Cory Publishing back. I don't even know if we'll be able to recover financially.
Well, as long as the printing facilities stay out of operation, there won't be any publishing, which means no money.
Of course not. Don't remind me. Have any idea what this is costing us?
I can imagine it's an ever-expanding fortune.
So I guess my problems do seem minute compared with the task of keeping a company together.
Now, wait a minute. Listen, if you have any more problems and this gets to be too much for you, you can go right down to my office. And I'm not promising you it's going to be better than this. I don't know from minute to minute who's behind the desk. But
Pat?
it is...
Yes.
Do you happen to know where Sandy's? Have you seen him around anymore?
Not today, I haven't. Ask Aunt Liz.
Oh, I already have. She said that he's running an errand. He should be back soon.
Well, that seems like a definitive answer. But if he does come in, I'll tell him to check with you, Cecile.
Yes, thank you, Pat. I'd appreciate that.
Sandy?
Sandy Alexander. He's an assistant to Cecile and to me. And an invaluable one, as a matter of fact.
That's really incredible. I mean, that kid has the magical power of showing up in a million places at one time.
And now, the continuing story of Another World.
Well, it's easy to tell you're back, Louise. This place hasn't been so neat since...
She left. That's why I've been keeping in contact with her to try and lure her back.
Well, how's Brooks? Is he coming back too?
Well, no, at least not for right now.
You two aren't having problems, are you?
Oh, no, Ada. It's just that the people we were working for in the south of France moved to Hong Kong.
Hong Kong, China?
Yes, Hong Kong, China. And so Brooks and I decided it would be best if he went on alone with them to help them get settled and so forth.
I've told Louise that whenever Brooks is ready to come back, there's a place for him.
I do appreciate that, Mrs. Cory. But if you'll excuse me, I think I should look in on Amanda. She's finger painting, and I don't want to leave her alone for too long.
All right.
I think she's a second cousin to Mary Poppins.
I think you should chain it to the house. Can I sit down?
Yes, right there, but don't move around too much. Everything's in its place, including the tea. Would you like some tea?
Well, yeah, I might as well. My nerves are shot anyway.
From tea?
No, from my family.
Meaning me.
Meaning Jamie.
What about him?
I'm worried about him.
Because he's working too hard.
Well, he is working too hard, but that's not all.
Mac is probably giving him too much responsibility, but he'll cope.
Well, it's not only work that's on his mind right now. He's got some extra worries.
Cecile?
You. And Mac. He's worrying himself sick over what's going to happen to you. So am I.
So it does boil down to me. Well, you and Jamie and Mac and everybody else doesn't have to worry about me anymore.
What's that supposed to mean?
Means that I've made a few decisions since I've been back.
Such as?
I will stay here with Mac, if that's what you're asking.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm asking. But what about the rest?
What rest?
So you're going to stay here with Mac. What are the terms?
I will avoid contact with Mitch. And I will support Mac's efforts to try and adopt Matthew legally.
What changed your mind?
Mac. Mac changed my mind.
Well, that sounded like a loaded comment if I ever heard one. Sandy's on an errand.
No, I mean in general.
That's what I thought you meant. Which doesn't sound like you, Philip. Would you like to explain?
There's just something about that kid. Do you know what he reminds me of? That little cartoon character Kilroy that pops up everywhere. First of all, he happens to be down at the dock site when Jamie has the accident, and he rescues him. I think that's terrific. Mm-hmm. And then he's creeping around in the middle of the night at the complex when it explodes. Not only does he rescue Jamie, he rescues Mac on top of that. And now you tell me that he's your assistant.
Some people are accident-prone. Perhaps he's rescue-prone.
Sure, and I'm Puff the Magic Dragon.
What's the matter?
I just think that Sandy Alexander is just a little too good to be true.
Well, would you like to give me an explanation for that cryptic remark?
Sure. When I started investigating that story down at the dock, I did it because I thought it'd be good for the paper. Jamie agreed with me. He encouraged me to go on about it. Naturally, I had to do a piece on Sandy Alexander. I mean, he was a major part of the drama down there.
Yeah, I believe that. Oh, by the way, I did want to tell you, I think it's wonderful that you've learning this new trade.
Oh, yes. Well, being the pro that I am, I did a little checking into them.
Well, so?
So? I found nothing. Zilch blank. There's no bank accounts, no Social Security, no driver's license, no birth certificate in any state. There's just no record of this guy at all. It seems to me that our professional rescuer just doesn't exist.
Well, there must be some reasonable explanation for this.
You think so? How about giving me one?
So what are you going to do next?
Well, what can I do? I'll just swallow the whole thing and hope it doesn't give me indigestion.
Hey, that doesn't sound like you, the world's greatest investigative reporter.
Thank you. But I've been told to keep my ink-stained hands off. I mean, Jamie told me to end the investigation. Mac told me not to investigate anymore. It seems that the whole family's lost interest.
Wow. Of course, Sandy didn't save Jamie's life.
Oh, I know that, Pat. We all know that, and I think it's all very commendable. But let me tell you something else. Something's not right with Sandy. Something else is there.
Jerry. Jerry!
What's wrong?
Oh. I thought,
You gotta watch those nightmares. That's what you get from eating junk food.
Jerry, how's the eye?
I think I must have got something in it.
I told you yesterday.
And maybe I'll buy a pair of dark glasses and pose as a Californian.
How's your arm?
Your arm's fine. It's the rest of me that feels like it's gonna fall off.
Very funny.
The arm is in a cast where it belongs. And you, where'd you get the fancy nightie?
It's the latest in executive lingerie.
Yeah, well, we're going to have to do something about that look. You know, the dark classes is a good place to start, and then I thought that we should sell the car.
Sell the car?
Yeah, I thought that we should get something like a Jeep or a van or something.
Or a pickup, maybe, huh?
Well, a pickup might be a little showy, but something that would go along with some old Levi's and some jeans. Maybe even a couple of cowboy hats.
That's a good idea. That way we could blend right in.
Yeah, it's got to be a lot better than a business suit and a cocktail gown.
Come on in. Thanks for giving up your lunch breaks to talk to me.
Man, I don't think I'm giving up anything to see you. And besides, from the sound of your voice on the phone, it sounded important.
Yeah, I think it is. Can I get you something to eat?
Sure. What have you got?
How about some leftover ham?
Sounds good. But, honey, it can wait a minute. First, tell me what's the matter.
Mom, you know I've been seeing Rick.
Mm-hmm. I don't think it's been a secret.
No. And you know that it started out as, well, we were just friends.
It started out?
Yeah. And really, that's the way I meant for it to stay. At least at first.
But then?
Well, some things that I had sort of been dreaming about just didn't seem to work out.
Jamie?
I don't want to go into that right now, really. But, Rick and I became much closer.
How much closer?
Mom, I'm pregnant.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Have you told Rick?
No, not yet.
Was there any reason why you haven't? Marianne, do you love him?
I don't know. I think so. I know that I care for him very much. that I often want him here with me. That I often need him here with me. But, well, maybe there is no but. I know that he loves me very much. Maybe that's why I'm so confused.
Confused because he loves you?
Yeah. I'm afraid that if I tell Rick I'm pregnant, it might change things. I think I want to get married.
You're telling me that you don't want to get married?
I don't know. I don't know what I want.
Marianne, do you want the baby?
Yes.
Well, then I think you have made a decision.
Liz, have you got those damage reports yet?
I have more pages of damages than a dictionary has words. It seems that every area receives some kind of damage, one kind or another. What's worse, the ones that got the major knocks, their own production. So Cory Publishing is down to zero production for some time into the future. I mean, the printing presses are shut down. The loading docks are burnt out. The layout facilities, they're completely wrecked because of the water from the fire hoses. And I haven't even mentioned the offices yet.
All the offices?
Oh, no, not all. Not the first floor or the top floor.
Have you heard anything about the microfiche room?
Microfiche room? Would you believe the one area completely unscathed? Couldn't be a better room for us to have saved him in our records, files, photographs. If that had gone up in smoke, we all would have been down the drain pipe. Oh, microfilm room is off limits, police investigation.
Oh, well, I'll keep well clear.
Isn't it funny? All that damage. The one room left intact. Could have been a more important room for us. I guess in that way we were lucky.
Yes. Yes, I guess we were.
What do you think of my new image?
Well, let's see. 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth. Looks like pretty much the same equipment.
But no makeup.
Yeah, no makeup.
Well, come on, what do you think?
Looks like Blaine.
Oh?
Yeah, looks like Blaine from when I first met her.
Is it really that different, Jerry? Okay, fine. Here, you haven't even finished your transformation. Let's put this on, okay? This is what you could say. Goodbye to high fashion and hello, Backroads Boutique. You come right down to it, you know, it's pretty fun. Kind of like Halloween dressing like this, right?
You know, I just hope we don't meet any monsters. Sorry. Can you give me a hand with this? I feel like a helpless kid.
You are, but you're doing just fine. This is the new fashion, studied abandon.
Yeah, we look like a couple of vagrants. I don't think they'll let us into Rotary Club this way.
Well, we certainly don't look like Mr. and Mrs. Affluent Lawyer.
Yeah, we sure don't.
It's all, kind of fun until you realize why we're doing it.
Look, we had better dump this stuff and get going.
Wait, I got stuff. Gotta get into the van. A brand new van that was as fashionable as these clothes are, huh?
Well, we were lucky to get an even trade in that van. Those used car guys were pretty sharp. You know, that is the first car that I ever owned. I paid outright for it in cash.
I'm sorry, Jerry.
Look, it was only a car, and it was worth sacrificing just for us to be able to feel safe. You know?
Okay, then. Let's get going. I can't wait to get out of this place.
You mean you don't like the decor?
I don't like anything about this place. Except the company. I'll take this.
Look, when did you last see Jerry?
Well, he was staying here last week. He said he was going back to the loft.
I know, but have you heard from him since?
No, why? Should I? Is something the matter, Larry?
Yeah, Blaine's gotten herself in some trouble.
With Jordan?
Yeah, with Jordan. And Jerry figured it would be best if...
If what?
If he took her away from the arena until things calmed down.
Well, where did they go?
That's the problem, Clarice. I don't know.
Well, could something happen to them? And something dangerous?
I'm afraid so.
Afraid so. Larry, you work for Jordan Scott.
All right, so I work for him. But Blaine's my sister, and I'm still worried about her.
Thank you for coming over right away.
You said you wanted to see me.
Yes,
You want to say something to me? If you have something to tell me, tell me.
I just wanted to let you know about my decision about Matthew, who's going to be his legal father. You're not making this any easier for me.
Should I?
I've decided.
Say it. I've decided for Matt.
I'm terribly sorry, I really am. It's just, it has to be this way.
Does it?
Well, you see, Mac will be able to give the baby so much more.
More than what?
It just is better this way, Mitch.
I don't believe it. He's pulling the strings, isn't he? What did he do to force you into it?
No one forced me.
I don't believe that. I know you. I know you, don't I?
He said that unless I supported him in this, our marriage would be over and that he would fight and get custody of Amanda.
What else did he say?
Jamie's future at the complex might not be...
Might not be what?
So secure.
Well, like I said, about says it all, doesn't it? Didn't leave you much choice, did he? I love you. I'm sorry not for kissing you. For what he's done to you. I want to see him about this.
Hey, Linda told me you wanted to see me. Something up?
Yeah, you got a minute?
Sure. Is this about Jerry?
No, not exactly.
Well, that's precise. But did you hear something?
I haven't heard anything. I'm beginning to wonder.
He'll be all right.
Like his mother?
He'll be all right. I know it.
I appreciate your optimism. Thank you.
Anytime. Look, if this is all there is, I've got to get back upstairs.
No, it isn't exactly.
Well, what then, exactly?
It's about Marianne.
This again?
This time is different.
It is never different, kid. It is just a variation on the same theme. And if it is not about Jerry, I've got to get back upstairs. What is it?
Have you talked to Marianne today?
I talk to Marianne every day.
I mean, really talked.
Kid, what are you getting at? What is this leading to?
Marianne is pregnant.
You sure?
I saw the lab report.
That's terrific.
Rick, did you hear me? I mean, she is pregnant with your child, and she hasn't told you yet.
She will. She will. She will tell me in her own way and in her own good time.
What if she doesn't?
Sandy, she's Cecile. I want you to check.
Sure. Pat said you wanted to see me, Cecile.
Oh, Sandy, yes. There are some important files that I need.
What happened to you?
Are these them?
No, they're not.
I wish that you'd stop staring at me like that. Haven't you ever seen a bruise before?
Well, never on such a pretty face. You know, 1 inch over and they would have gotten your eye.
They? Aren't you being a little bit presumptuous?
Well, you'd have to be a masochist to do that to yourself.
Accidents happen. It was an accident. I fell. I'm a big girl, Sandy. I'll get over it all right. It's no big deal.
I guess we all get over everything in time.
What's that supposed to mean?
Nothing, really. It's just, I'm so shocked to see that purple mark.
Sandy, look, I really do appreciate your concern, but there's no cause for alarm. I know what you're thinking.
What am I thinking?
You're thinking that Jamie did this to me.
Did he?
Of course not. I told you it was an accident. I was alone, and I hurt myself, and nobody else is to blame. Look, I just don't want to talk about this anymore, okay?
Sally, excuse me. You got a minute? Hey, come on. I'd like it if we could talk this thing out.
What's the matter, Leigh? Your hockey buddy's allowed to come out and play?
Thank you.
Now, those are pretty hard words coming from a pretty lady. Aren't you going to give me a chance to apologize?
No.
Why not?
Because an apology would mean I'd have to talk to you, and I just don't feel like doing that right now. Understand?
No.
Well, why don't you just go away?
How would you like it if I just died right here in the cafeteria floor?
Why don't you just do that?
I'll do it.
Good.
I'm dying. I'm dying!
Get up. Leigh, get
You wouldn't want to see a grown man grovel.
You're not. You're an overgrown boy who prefers to play with the guys.
Oh, is that it? Is that all the time I get? I mean, after having tracked you halfway across this town?
Oh.
I mean, I've been everywhere looking for you. You know, I went over to your house, then I went over to the campus, and I searched the campus cafeteria, then went back over to your house. I've been everywhere.
Boy, I didn't think you could get that far without ice skates.
You know, at least your grandfather had a little compassion and told me where you were.
Yeah, well, thanks to Grandpa.
Well, he said you were going to meet your mom over here at the hospital. Why?
To have my head examined for ever even talking to you.
Oh, Sally, come on. I just want to explain. Have a heart.
What for? So we can get broken? Or put on ice? Hockey ice.
Sally, that's just the way out-of-town games are. You see, there isn't much time for anything other than in practice and playing. Just hockey. You see, that's why I figured your coming to Montreal in the first place wouldn't be such a hot idea. I knew I wouldn't have much time for you.
Much time? Leigh, you didn't spend any time with me at all.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. More than I can say.
Yeah, well, I think you should learn how to say it.
I'm sorry.
Quiet.
Okay. I didn't want it to turn out that way any more than you did.
Really? You wanted to spend the time with me?
Of course. More than anything. Cross my heart and hope to die. No, I'm saying that in the hospital.
And you really would like to take me away for a weekend?
Of course.
Well, how about this weekend?
This weekend?
Well, yeah, we could go skiing. Do you like to ski?
Yeah.
Well, we could go up in the mountains and stay in a cabin and drink champagne in front of a fire and listen to music. Does that sound interesting?
Are you trying to tempt me?
Am I succeeding?
Look, Sally, I don't know if I can get the car.
Would you try? I just know we'd have the most wonderful time.
I'll try. Real hard, I promise.
Where there's a will, there's a way. And I just know that we are going to have the most wonderful weekend. You'd like that, wouldn't you?
Mac, I want to talk to you.
The feeling is not mutual.
I've got something to say to you.
I don't think we have anything to discuss.
I think you're wrong. I think we have plenty to discuss.
Like what?
Like the agreement we made. Not to pressure Rachel.
Oh, yes, that agreement. Well, it's one of the cardinal rules of business that an agreement is only as good as the man you make it with. Obviously, you didn't live up to the word of your agreement.
I'm not the one that's threatened her.
You're insinuating I did?
I'm not insinuating anything.
Good.
I'll put it to you bluntly. You told Rachel that if she decided that I was to be Matthew's father legally as well as in fact, then you would consider your marriage over. That's a threat. And if your marriage was over, then you would seek custody of Amanda. And as for Jamie, well, his future here at Cory Publishers just might be in danger. Well, that's not pressure. No, you've gone beyond that. You've threatened her.
Well, she certainly filled you in on everything, didn't she? Yes, those are the facts of what would happen. I felt she had the right to understand the implication of her actions.
Oh, the implications of her actions? Is that the way you're treating her? Like, the rules of business?
Dare talk to me about my wife in this office. You talk about pressure. You're the one that broke your word to stay away from her by chasing her down to St. Croix so you could push your case there.
It was not like that.
Blake, I have asked you not to come to my house. I'm telling you, don't you enter my place of business again. Whatever Rachel's decision, it's final. You and I have nothing to talk about whatsoever.
Rachel's decision? Or yours?
I'm going to look like a French fry pretty soon. But what a way to go.
Fuel for the engine. We still got a long way to drive today.
Mm-hmm.
And where's the ketchup?
It's behind the seat there. Oh! Jerry, what's the matter? Jerry, are you okay? Jerry, what is this? Jerry, what are you doing with this gun?
It's okay.
No, it is not okay.
I've got a permit to carry it.
It doesn't make it okay. I didn't think you were going to carry this thing.
It's your passive resistance with Jordan Scott and his friends looking for us.
You're crazy to have a gun.
Crazy or not, how am I supposed to protect you? Talk nice to those guys?
You have a gun, and then you pull it, they're going to kill you.
And they're not if I'm unarmed.
No. Jerry, I just don't even know.
Come on, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay, I promise you.
Cecile, I know it's past closing time, but could you give me a few minutes before you go?
Oh, yes, of course, ma'am. What is it?
Please sit down. The last thing in the world I want to do is to intrude on your privacy, but if you don't think I'm doing that, I would certainly like it if you could tell me what in the world is going on with Jamie.
I don't understand.
Well, ever since I named Jamie as heir to Cory Publishing, it seems to me like he's developed an obsessive need to prove his ability. I mean, no matter what I say to him, he won't believe that there is no one who doubts his talent, who doubts his skill. He insists on doing more than anybody else in the complex. And he expects more of himself than a young man of his age ought to. So sometimes I wonder, did I do the right thing? Did I do it too soon?
Oh, Mac, of course you did the right thing. Of course you did. You'll see, as soon as everything settles down, Jamie will settle down, too. He'll be back to his old self. I just know he will be. He just needs to see that he can cope with all this, and then he can relax and take things in stride. He just wants to please you. Mac, he wants...
What does he want?
I don't know if I should be saying this.
Please.
Well, when we were up at the cabin, we had a long talk together about you and Jamie. And I don't think that I realized until then just how important a figure you are in his life. I mean, he really thinks of you as his father. But even more importantly, he wants to be a good son to you. And I think that he's afraid that he's just not going to be able to measure up to some standard that you've set for him.
But he couldn't be more wrong. Jamie's always measured up to anything that I wanted. He couldn't do otherwise. I mean, I would accept him and anything he did, no matter what it was, if only because he's my son. Well, I mean, if I'd had a natural son, might have been different, but that's not the case. As far as I'm concerned, Jamie is my son, my only son. Well, excepting Matthew, of course, but at his age, he hardly qualifies as competition.
So Jamie's your only son that's ready to take over Cory Publishing?
Yes, of course. And that's something I can enjoy watching him and you do together. I have a lot of faith and a lot of confidence in each one of you. And I think you're just going to be a great team.
I think so, too.
If only he would learn to share responsibility and not feel like a failure because he was doing it.
Oh, Mac, you know, I think that you should talk to Jamie just like you've talked to me and tell him what you've said. And, you see, I think he needs you and your acceptance more than anything right now.
I love you. You know that, don't you?
Yes, Rick, I know that.
That's good.
There's something I want to tell you.
I'm listening.
Yeah, well, listening is a whole lot easier than telling, and I'm really no good at...
Tell me. Tell me.
Rick, I'm pregnant.
Which means, in other words, that I'm going to be a father.
Maybe.
What?
If you don't want... I mean, if this upsets you and you're not ready for it...
What, ready for a full-fledged commitment? Marianne, I love you. I don't know, I don't know any other words... Wait a minute. I don't know any other words how to tell you that. Now, why do you keep backing away?
I just didn't know how you'd react. I didn't know if you'd want to...
Want the responsibility?
Then you don't have to if you don't...
Wait a minute. I love you. I think I loved you when I first saw you. You give my life meaning. when before, I don't know. Look, I love you. And the only question here is if you love me.
Yes, I do.
Enough to marry me.
Is that a proposal, Dr. Holloway?
I haven't heard an answer. I want you to be my wife. I want you to have my child.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, Jerry. Just hold that there, okay? I think it'll make it a little bit better. At least I hope so.
More?
Yes, please.
Will you sleep?
I'll sleep. Thank you.
I want to talk.
Yes.
I've been thinking a lot about what you said. I've come to a decision.
About Matthew?
Yes. I want you to start adoption proceedings.
I think someday you'll believe you made a wise decision. Rachel, don't let anything or anybody come between us ever again.
Join us each weekday at this time for the continuing story of Another Work.